Hey everyone, Chris here.
Hey, my name is Guillaume. Welcome back to Thoman's Guitars and Basses. Went to today's video, which is all about attenuation. It's about keeping you all quiet.
Quiet.
For the sake of your family, your loved ones.
This is a a sequel, shall I say?
That's true.
One of our first videos actually that we did on this channel, 2016, I think. We'll put it on the screen somewhere, and then the original video,
Baby Chris.
which I did. Yeah, Baby Chris did that with another colleague of ours who's an ex-colleague but still a very good friend, Pavel, who is actually an engineering genius, and he helped us, like, walk us through all the power, all the power attenuators that we had in stock. Now times changed, 9-ish years, 10, oh no, 10 years passed, and we still look marvelous. And also, there are some new attenuators. There are some crazy important ones that were not existing back then.
True.
Such as the newest one.
It's the Torpedo Captor X Plus Pro Max.
So, for those who are not aware of what an attenuator is and how you connect it and who needs one, we'll talk about those. If you want to skip the whole talking part because you know exactly what's happening, you just want to hear the sounds, I want to hear the products, you'll see timestamps. Do use them, please. And otherwise, what is an attenuator?
Dr. G. It does what it says on the box. An attenuator attenuates. It sits in between your power amp and your speaker. So usually between a head and a cab, and will allow you to attenuate the output volume of your power amp, of your amp. Going into the speaker, so rendering, like, it's taking part of the load itself and then it's sending whatever you want to send to the speaker, allowing you to have the sound of a pushed amp at a reasonable volume.
Exactly. So first of all, who needs just nailed it. Who needs an attenuator? Only people who use tube amps. That's as simple as that. If you have solid state amps, you don't have to worry about it. If you're using plugins, multi-effects, obviously volume is not a thing. Like, you can set the volume up to however you want to.
Volume is non-existent for you people.
Yeah, that's not an issue. If you have tube amps though, and you want to have their best sound, you need to crank them. It's already usually too loud for at home, and sometimes even too loud for stages, especially if there are like low stage volumes required because of whatever reasons. You'll see more and more of that, unfortunately. So attenuators will take care of that stupid amount of volume that you have with tube amps once you set them up to sound best.
So that's what it is. Who needs it? Then
how do you connect it? Very simple. Speaker out of your amplifier goes into the attenuator. You will see an according jack, and then there is a speaker out from the attenuator going into your cabinet. If it's a combo, it's still the same. It's just a little trickier because the cable from the speaker is usually very short.
Yeah,
so you have to change that to a longer one. You can go to a technician and do that, or just, I don't know, put the attenuator behind the combo that it kind of still fits in there, even though, as told, the length of the cable is very limited. But it's the same thing. You'll have a speaker out on your combo. You go into from there with a speaker cable into the attenuator. From the attenuator, you go with the speaker cable into the speaker, and you're done. So it's the same thing. That's how you connect them.
Okay. So that's what, that's who, that's how.
Yes.
Then
what are we doing today?
What are we doing? Why so many then, if it's just a matter of like a volume button essentially?
Exactly. So we'll go from the lowest price to the highest price today, which is something that we kind of did in the original video as well. And you will see and hear differences. You will see different kinds of specs and features on these, and different sort of focus, like depending on what the unit does, is going to be partially an attenuator, but also more clever and do digital stuff with impulse responses, or like on analog cab simulation or whatever. You'll see those as well, but you'll also see just a very simple one that just attenuates and nothing else. And we'll see a tube power amp mixed with an attenuator, which is the fanciest one. We'll see it at the end, the Fryette. So there are different ways of attenuating, and I guess we could already move on to the first one, which is a simple attenuator. This is the Harley Benton PA100, which is a resistive load. there are two types or basic types of attenuation: resistive load and reactive load. Resistive load means that there are resistors in the way of the signal which kind of swallow a lot of the volume. Depending on how you set the attenuation, you'll swallow more and more of that volume. The only downside of this technology is that the more you attenuate, the more you kind of lose some interaction, some dynamic range, usually some low end, high end of your
it doesn't only take
frequency
in the
range.
volume, it takes a bit of, like a bunch of frequencies as well. And yeah, but I mean, you'll be able to hear that as much as we are. We'll do a bit of a reference, like a little benchmark. And then the plan is for each of them to also go through single coil humbucker.
Very good point, actually. We'll go through them each, like one after the other, and G's gonna play. I'll twist some knobs to see what happens if you attenuate more or less. But we'll have a direct comparison at the end with the Tele and the Les Paul. So you have single coil and humbucker sounds. We'll put each and every one of them one after each other, like direct comparison,
back
to back, baby. So you have the chance to see like what actually is the difference. Are those differences big enough and relevant for you to worry about or not, whichever. So your reference sound, that is the Les Paul. It's a standard. Going into the V40 Deluxe Victory head, which is cranked quite a bit. And that goes into, we needed an 8 ohm cab. One of our favorites is the Harley Benton 2x12 Plus with the Celestion creambacks. And that is what you'll hear right now. No attenuation. And it's going to be loud and it's going to sound epic.
That was a lot of volume.
Yes. So that is too loud. Even for us, even though we like loud amps, I would turn that down. But we don't have to today because we have these babies. So let's connect the first one and see what happens to the sound if we attenuate. We'll aim for like 2 volumes, 100-ish dBs, which is like a decent stage volume, and between 70 and 80, which is somewhat reasonable bedroom volume, during the day hours.
Yeah. That's like loud talking. Is around between 70 and 80.
It's already between 90 and 100. So at its loudest setting, it already attenuates like 10-ish dBs, almost 10 dBs. Let's get to like a bedroom volume.
I hear the strings more than I hear them.
It's just so quiet. Honestly, I hope the mic gets more of the amp sound than from the string.
Than the guitar, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's so weird though, because here we're in a big studio. It's an ideal place to crank things because volume is perceived in a different way. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't feel weird to crank an amp. This volume at home would be like, ooh, I hope the neighbors will not knock.
For sure. Oh no, different perspective.
How did it feel?
So different.
Okay.
So different.
What is the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, my diaphragm didn't go back into my throat. So that was the first thing that struck me, really. The second thing is we lost a lot of high end.
Okay.
A little bit of dynamics, but that wasn't the biggest like drop either. Like I felt like when I went back to neck pickup and I was about that.
Wait, I crank it back to 100.
I'm still getting
Nice.
like some sag, some you know, sponginess. It's
You look like you feel at home.
yeah, exactly.
It's just
like,
that
it's
you
nice.
lose some of that openness.
But
presence.
that was not even in between like 160. It was just unplugged, plugged, difference.
Instantly.
Period.
It's because even at the maximum setting, it already has some resistors in the way, which will just change the volume and the sound a bit.
So
of course, there are two things about this. A lot of people will probably write, especially people who know about these things, that our perception is also different. As soon as volume drops, we want more low end. We want like this is the loudness effect. Our ears want to hear more presence and more low end, more of a scooped sound compared to a loud sound where those frequencies, lows and highs, will start to get really like not nice. And that is of course a factor. Still, we're guitar players who want to plug into a thing that should bring down the volume and still should feel and sound like we want. We don't want to double the amount of treble on the amp or presence. We just want it to sound or feel comparable. The next one is the RPA 100 by Rockboard, which is Warwick's take on a very similar kind of product. It does have some more features though. So this one also has the line level and the attenuation level, same as the Harley Benton one. This also takes up to 100 watts of amp power, but this one also has two versions of cab simulation, which I think are analog. It doesn't say, but it's like a 2x12 and a 4x12 cab simulation with those things on tap. So you do have some sort of a basic all-in-one box kind of feature set. Otherwise, let's see how it performs.
General same impression. Same impression for these two.
But also, it's crazy how these very affordable units still maintain the joy in playing.
The joy goes through.
Right?
Yeah,
it's like it's still the squashiness or the nice little things about a crank tube amp. I can hear it, and you look like you feel it. So
no, it's still fun to play for sure.
Tone-wise, there are differences. Next one is again a Harley Benton. This is the PA250, and as the name says, it goes up to 250 watts. Which is the right amount, by the way, if you have like a 150 watt anything, because if you crank those amps, the peaks are gonna be more than what it says. This is the first one with bypass. Which means that if you bypass the thing, you have the direct sound, the full volume sound of the amp, which is like that. It's not quiet. Then if you turn the bypass off, you will engage the attenuation. This one also has some other features. Of course, you can go full load if you want to use this like in a line level and go into, I don't know, an IR loader or something, which is again, another added nice feature. Bypass first. One more?
I get it.
Just for the low volume. Okay, I'm 100% sure that this one has more openness presence left at this very low volume compared to the PA100.
Yeah.
Wow, it's still a resistive load, by the way. So a reactive load should do exactly that. This one shouldn't necessarily do it, but it does it somehow.
It kind of gets there. No, you're right. And even from just the bypass to non-bypass, it's less of a massive difference.
Yeah, totally.
Like you can hear it.
It's a volume drop,
layer or something,
but it's not really.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like this is a different class of attenuation.
Nice. All right, it's getting interesting. Moving on. Next one is the Polymer PDI-06.
Yes.
Mark II. The latest version of the PDI-06, which is their, we assume, reactive load or reactive attenuator. We're not 100% sure about it.
Why not?
It doesn't say anywhere, not in the manual, not on their website, not on our website, not on anywhere. So Polymer, if you feel like communicating it, let us know in the comments below or update the manual and everything. It's not the most important piece of information. What's important is what it sounds like. It sounds amazing.
It's my favorite so far.
Yeah. The only thing is that the lowest we could get was like 80, 90 dBs, which is not close to a bedroom volume.
Your uncle on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, someone's basement.
You're a little louder than you should be. It's like everybody notices, but it's still like acceptable within the household.
Yeah, for like 30 minutes per day, maybe.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
This is gonna be too much for this volume. Like our initial volume is like already very loud, too loud for stages. So this goes down to 18% of that, which is just too much.
Yeah, no, it is a little.
You can make it go red.
Yeah, it's still a little loud. Maybe not enough for bedroom, but for most stages and most rehearsal
unless
spaces.
Unless you crank your amp a little less.
Yeah.
Or you have a 5-watt amp that you crank, that is going to be a very different story. But this is like, a proper, very loud situation, which we want to get down to a bedroom level. Very nice. Love this one. Moving on. Next one is the Koch. Don't laugh. LB120-II. This is the 8-ohm version. There is a 16-ohm version as well. Lots of ins and outs. This is the back side. We've turned around.
It's an interesting system.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
So it's the set and forget kind of system.
Yeah.
Also, all these are on the back side. So if you want to have this the right way around, you would only see the logo saying LB120, etc. This is all kind of hidden, but we wanted to show obviously what's up. So you have to unplug and replug for every level of attenuation instead of having a rotary switch or something, which is a way of solving it. And for the sake of like showing it, it's strange, but once you have your volume and you're settled, less things can go wrong because it's just direct connections. It's still a resistive load, and it goes up price-wise from the Polymer with some additional features, of course. You have a lot more that you can do with this one compared to, for example, the PD106. So yeah, if it's your jam, you have those options. Let's see what it sounds like.
120 watts as well, worth
mentioning. True. Very, very true. 120 watts. So this is much safer for your 100-watt amps compared to most that just say 100 watt is the limit.
Yes.
Let's go. 1%. I enjoy this sound as much as I enjoy the unattenuated.
Yeah, and I
bypass.
put it at least on par with the Palmer in terms of quality of attenuation. I think it's up there as well.
But the same as the Palmer, it's more like 90 dBs, which is just a very loud.
I feel like it's going to be a consistent issue with stepped attenuation like that, where they give you like 1%, 3%, 5%. Sometimes you need like 0.1%.
Which is stupid.
But it's like that's the thing with like an exponential curve, and most of them are.
Moving on to the new kid on the block.
Yes.
The Captor X Plus by 2 Notes. This just came out.
Yes.
Depending on when this video goes online, a few days or weeks ago. And we are not doing it justice today, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, because we're not using the fancy new features. We're using one of my favorite features that it does, and that's a reactive load, one of the sweetest ones. This is a very subjective thing, of course. I have the Captor X. I use it a lot for attenuation. I prefer this over much more expensive stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
To me, it's the thing. The only big downside is that it only offers 2 steps of attenuation. So right now we're in full volume, no load. Then it drops down to minus 20 dBs. And then there's a bedroom volume, which is minus 38 dBs, which is like solid. You'll see that's what I use at home when I want to crank one of my amps and want to use a guitar cab, which I don't do a lot. But if I do, that's the setting I use. And it works. I can tell, like for like 30, 40 watt amps, fairly cranked, it's doable. I still have my house. No one kills me yet. One last thing, 100 watt is the volume limit your amp can have. It's so quiet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Works. That's better.
Minus 38 dBs is so much.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very loud setting, a magical sound, absolutely undoable at home. You go down to the low setting and you're like, excuse me?
It works.
Is this even on? It's and you don't lose the treble. You don't lose the low end.
No, that
maybe
was,
it corrects. Maybe there's some trickery going on that they compensate, but this loudness effect could be. I don't know. I don't care. I love what I hear.
Yeah.
And the only downside is that the mid setting, the minus 20, is already like way under 100. Like it was like more like 90 dB.
It's way down there. Yeah.
Too quiet for stage.
Yeah, definitely. Either you don't need attenuation or you need a lot of it, and everything else that you do with that is just all the other features from it.
Yeah, I mean, it does so much.
You have your stage volume and it's fine. You don't necessarily attenuate with it, but you send your stereo out with different cabs and different mics and different settings through.
And especially if you want to go fully like muted and use the IRs.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
Pretty phenomenal.
The remote and everything. Okay, cool. Moving on. Boss Tube Amp Expander Core.
That is the name.
Which is the smaller version. There's the big one, and this is the smaller one. This is the newer edition, and of course, a lot more affordable. Has different features, less in some ways, but has some new things built in because it's a newer product. I think the airfeel is something, correct me if I'm mistaken, but there are some features on this one that are not on the big boy. This is a different kind of situation. First of all, it's a reactive load, same as the Captor X, but it has a very different way of dealing with your volume. This swallows the whole thing, so it's a full reactive load.
Kirby.
Once it's muted, it recreates the volume with a built-in power amp, which is a 30-watt, probably solid-state power amp, and you have a volume for that. So it's like a second master for your amp, really. First of all, this is again like way more clever. It's not just an attenuator, really. You can use it the same way as we are doing it, but it's like MIDI, all the stuff. You have software connectivity. You have all the cab simulations and rigs and stuff. It's almost a pity to use it for what we are using.
But watch us.
But hey, watch us doing it anyways.
You clicked and you stayed that long?
You have two options, combo and stack. The stack increases the low end, makes it sound like a stack, like a half stack, full stack. The combo is a bit more mid-focused. I'll show you both and then go for the 100 dB volume for stage volume and the 70, 80-ish for home volumes.
So quiet though. It makes it really difficult to make out because I hear the treble of the strings before I hear.
think I hear more of that than you because you have the strings in front of you. Yeah. Okay.
It's there though.
My impression, not being the player, is that the presence, the openness, the freshness of the sound is sublime, like perfect.
Throughout,
the only thing that's interesting when I go this low with the volume, I have a little bit of that impression of going low with the volume on an amp, maybe on a solid state amp more.
It feels
like I miss like there's a tiny bit of fizziness that gets introduced to the sound. It's a great sound still. It's just not that round tube sound. It feels a little bit like what it is. Like it's a power amp that's cranked a little less compared to being cranked much more. Palmer Supreme Soaker, which is much more than just an attenuator, but it's also a reactive attenuator and load. It does the analog speaker simulation thing.
We do have a fully comprehensive video about it. Check it out if you want all the details. But attenuation-wise, I have a very good memory of it.
Yes,
I have. I seem to recall a very accurate.
I wouldn't be surprised because the PDI-06, the smaller, more affordable Palmer was already great. So if this isn't, I'm surprised. Let's see what's up. This is Bypass.
It's
Every single
so
time.
fun at that
Yeah,
volume.
yeah, yeah.
It is
It's just, I'm so sorry for you. You have to watch us being stupid.
quiet.
It's like, oh, it's so weird, it's so quiet.
I hear the
But
strings.
if you have this thing in front of you and do the same thing, you'll have the same face.
It's pretty fun,
It's
yeah.
so funny how quiet it gets. Obviously, you can hear that the speaker is not working as hard. So that is always going to be a difference. But other than that, the experience is the same at any volume, which is my favorite thing about these reactive loads. Next up is the Tone King Ironman 2, which is one of the ones that have been requested by you guys under the original video. Like, how come that's not part of the comparison? It didn't exist yet. That's the thing. This came out after that video. That's how old that video is. And this is actually the first time I'm trying it. And I remember a lot of people saying a lot of good things about this one, being one of the nicest, most sort of tailored for people who only want attenuation but want nice features out of that. Supposed to sound good, and the cool thing about it is that it has these foot switchable little options. So this ring contains different amounts of attenuation that belong together. So for example, right now we're at 0, -3, -6, and those rings represent different settings of this thing that you can foot switch. There's a foot switch jack at the back, and with that you can decide between going a low setting and a solo setting, a high setting and a solo setting, or I think just a low and a high, or whichever. There are different correlations between these amounts of attenuation that you can actually foot switch. A clever, complex solution which results in a very simple to use sort of
I'd say in comparison to what we've seen in the higher price range right now, we have something that is entirely targeted towards attenuation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The other ones were all jack of all trades, like doing attenuation, but mostly doing the DI out, the effects loop, the this and the that.
Yeah.
And like this guy is complex only in its attenuation to offer you as many different steps and flavors and specific settings of that attenuation.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty dope.
And also it does line out. If you want that, there's an XLR out and you can change ground and like basic settings. It does that too, but it really is made for those who have like this one amazing, very loud amp, and I want to have a rhythm and a solo sound out of it, like two different volumes of that thing, attenuated to a volume that I can use at that moment in life, whether it's on stage or at home, and that's it. Up to 80 dBs, yeah.
Wow. It's the first one that I like the attenuated sound more than the non-attenuated sound. The other ones were either on par, but this one there is something that's like it's almost better.
It does a crank amp, power amp saturation a bit more.
Yeah, it gives it like a.
It sounds old school.
Yeah. There's really something so raw about it, even when it's attenuated, that I really enjoy.
That being said, my perception is that it changes the sound more than some other reactive loads.
Yeah.
It puts a slight blanket on the sound when you go down way down, compared to, for example, the two notes or even the Palmer.
Yeah.
But it's a very sweet sound. It's like a really cool sort of flavored sound.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It was very enjoyable. I liked it, but yeah, it's probably a little bit further away from what the other ones were doing, but
in a very cool way. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
And very flexible.
Next one is the new version of the Reload. This is the Reload 2x2 notes, and it's a beast. We're getting very serious here.
It's both the beauty and the beast. Look,
is that actual wood? It feels like
it's
wood.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is so much more than an attenuator. It's like everything that you wish an attenuator and cap simulation and an FX loop that you never had in your amp.
Double effect.
It's like, and a power amp, everything. So it's fully stereo. Let's get this out of the way. Whatever you do with it, it's stereo. It has even an effects loop, a stereo effects loop, of course, where you can put your delays and whatever reverbs and stuff that you cannot put in front of your crank plexi or Vox or whatever. With this you can do that. So that's already a big win. It fully loads your sound. It's a reactive load, of course. Goodness. Fully mutes your sound and then recreates it with, bear with me, how much was it?
215 watts per side.
Power amp that's built in. Stereo, so 215 watts per side if you want to go into two cabs and have a full stereo rig, or just stick to a mono one, it's still going to be plenty loud, 215 watts. So this is really cool. There are tons of ins and outs, of course, MIDI and everything you want, and the whole Celestion approved reactive thingy, and the dynamic IR is built in, the whole remote stuff, the software. It's like, it's too much that my brain could handle. But what really matters is how it sounds. This is very clever. It's the first time that I see this. First of all, it does 4, 8, and 16 ohms. You select whatever you want. And then you can set the level coming from your amp. It's like an input gain for your amp speaker out. It's crazy. Can you start playing? And it should light up in the middle. It's not enough? Still not? Getting there? How awesome.
No, but awesome. It's okay. We haven't heard the thing yet, but it's already like, yeah.
I hope it doesn't disappoint, because until now I love it. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
I do not know what brand of fairy dust they sprinkle upon their attenuators.
Fairy dust.
Fairy dust.
Sorry.
You heard it from a French. So it's that kind of.
Oh wow.
I adore.
Yeah.
It's how absolutely 100% neutral it is. It doesn't mess with your sound.
No.
Quite the opposite of the Tone King, the Ironman, which messed with your sound in a very cool way.
In a very cool way.
But if you're like, no, leave it alone, damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's everything.
That's the thing. Do you have a nice, I don't know, Fender combo without an FX loop, but you really love delays or reverb, but different type of reverb?
Yeah.
Or you want your chorus like unsaturated, and you love cranking that amp, but it's just too loud? Well,
do you want like proper stage volume out of a 5-watt champ?
Yeah, that's it. Do you want to not be kicked out of your band with your Plexi or your AC30? And we should not forget about the controls that you still have. Like, it's very neutral, and I love that. I wouldn't change that. But if you want a bit more impressive sound at lower volumes, especially, there's the Mojo, which increases the resonance, it feels like, and there's a depth and a presence to increase the smiley face kind of EQ. If you wanna
just increase the smile.
you
just go from that to.
Oh, that's awesome. To, oh my God, it's awesome. Go ahead. So yeah, you can still, like, you can make a champ sound like a big 100-watt amp because you increase the depth and the whatever presence.
That's crazy.
Nice.
It's a silly amount of options.
Yeah. Next one is the Fryette PS100. There's a PS2A, which is very similar to this. It's just that it has a 50-watt tube amp built in, power amp built in. This one has a 100-watt tube amp built in. 6550 tubes built in, 2 pieces.
65 tubes in there, crazy!
2 pieces of 6550 tubes. And what this does is, in a very similar way, like the 2 Notes and some others, it swallows the whole signal. It's a full reactive load and then recreates it. But this time, it's not a solid state power amp. It's a tube power amp. And it's tweaked and made to sound great at whichever volume, which is a very transparent, very neutral, and can go down to low volumes without sounding fizzy or losing its, joyfulness, unlike amps. So you want your amp to crank, to have that power amp saturation. You want this to not have any of those things, but still have the warmth of the tube power amp. So
has anybody made a tube amp with like whatever regular preamp tubes and then 6550 power amp tubes in order to get similar result out of just an amp?
That would be a very interesting question. But then you lose the reason to even crank it, because that's the thing. If you want the tube amp to sound the best it can, you want the power amp to do something.
What about 2 power amps?
This is exactly what you're doing.
What about a power amp into a power amp?
It's exactly what we're doing here. So you have 2 different channels, basically. You can go for 2 levels of attenuation. Again, you can foot switch that, so you can make this your rhythm and your solo channel. This is how that looks. Like you have the green and the red sort of level. All 2 channels have the 3 controls: volume, presence, and depth. And then you can fine-tune the sound and increase the what they call the bite and the warmth, bright or warmth, with 2 little toggles. So you have some tone shaping features here. Plus, at the back, you'll find an effects loop, which is again something that is one of the main features and selling points for this one, being one of the first ones, I think, or the first one that offered that. If you have an old school amp without an effects loop and you want an effects loop, this was the only option you had until, well, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Expect the best sound. We'll see if it delivers. It's the king of the attenuators. We'll see if that's still...
Will it dethrone the French?
The French. Impressions?
It's really close to the French.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if I could tell the difference in a blindfold.
No, I think back to back, these two are going to be very, very close to one another. Then again, if you're buying in for a feature set and not just the attenuation, I think 2 notes is still up there.
Yeah, that's a much more modern, versatile gear. This is like,
but if it's just for tone,
analog,
like purity,
leave me alone. I don't want 100 inputs and outputs, and I don't want 100 features. I don't want to connect my phone to my thing. You know, just give me a thing that's gonna do the same thing for 100 years and outlive me and outlive my kids. Because this is that kind of technology. You know, it's 40s technology, but made very clever to work in our modern times.
Yeah, fair enough. We got the beginning of a podium right there. I feel like this is going in a. But I'm curious about the back-to-back comparison when we'll re-listen to the video
when we watch
to
the
see if I
one,
can really pinpoint, because I think between those two and some of the earlier contenders were up there, but like those two.
The small Palmer, the Supreme as well, and also the Captor X. Like a lot of those were like, what? Okay, one more to go. The Universal Audio aux box or aux top box, top box, amp top box. Lots of words. The aux box. It's a reactive load and it has 5 settings. Goes from some amount of attenuation, so no bypass. It already attenuates, to 0, which is a full load. And that already shows that the attenuation is a feature here, but it really is just like, it also attenuates. And it's a reactive load. It's a studio tool or like their own cab simulation kind of tool. How does it feel?
Not as good.
Okay, not as reactive.
Not as reactive on the lower setting. Everything like before was really nice.
Yeah.
But the lower set, like the bedroom volume, I lost a bit of something. It lost a bit of spark.
Joy, a bit of joy. Yeah, that's the thing. Like on the upper settings, on 4 and 5, it's called, I think, like the least amount of attenuation is wonderful. It's the sound of your amp just a little quieter.
If you're taking if you just aim it at taking the top off, it's nice. But bedroom volume,
it is a studio tool / stage tool. It's not a bedroom tool to practice. You can use it for that. You can go as low, but then you just rather just go like full load and go through line. Use the phones, the headphones out for the caps,
for sure,
which are amazing, of course. But if you just use it as an attenuator and go real low, there are other options. I would say, like just for that, that's where the Fryette shines. That's where the reload gives you so much more tweakability in terms of brightness and presence and depth and everything. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
This is where we insert the head-to-head comparison.
Yes.
Insert all the million clips, and then let's talk about it. You played much more during this video.
Yeah.
What is your impression?
Well,
is there a big step somewhere?
I need to practice more.
Don't we all?
Yeah. There was there were a couple of gaps between the entry levels and the first Palmer, I would say. Those were, well, no, not really. The entry level and the Harley Benton 250 was already.
Oh yeah,
like there was already something there, right? So, I mean, there was one step there. There was a step at the reactive load stage, but it wasn't. If we were just talking about attenuation, it wasn't enough for me to say like, oh yeah, that is much better. Like than some of them where we're not even sure if it's reactive. Or,
yeah. There were some where like, it's hard to tell. It's like.
So I think the discourse like changes because of the feature set. Attenuation wise, Fryette reload even somewhere on you know the first step of that podium. After that, it's really difficult for me to just rank attenuation without considering the effects loop, without considering the quality of DI out. I don't really prefer analog solutions for that, so I would then go for like something with
impulse responses or deny
and all that. There's a lot to be taken into consideration, but the back-to-back comparison I feel will be the ultimate test of it, and I'll watch the video at the same time as you guys do.
I will edit it, so I will see it 100 times before you see it.
Exactly.
But still, at this point, I can only tell the listeners' perspective. There was a small step every single time. Which shouldn't be a surprise because you go up with the price tag, you go up with spec lists lengths, and then you of course also go up in terms of quality of sound or the adjustability. The Captor X, the Palmer PDI-06, the Koch, and all those like that's where you arrive to an amazing sound. And then it's just a matter of which can attenuate the way you like it. It's not like which one will not kill the sound of your amp that much, because those are like wow.
But yeah, no, I agree. Other than telling you which one is best and which one is less best or whatever, we've given you all the comparison points for you to make your own decision.
And it's all just subjective, whatever we say. Anyways. Make up your own mind, of course. Let us know what you've heard in the comments below, and you'll find all the links in the description box to all these products.
Subscribe, because it was a really long video to make, and we appreciate it. Thank you. We love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.